We are living through one of the biggest shifts in artificial intelligence, like right now. For years, we've basically thought of AI as this giant, super smart encyclopedia. But that's all changing. We're now heading into an era where AI doesn't just know things, it can actually think. It can solve problems it's never seen before. We're moving from just memory to actual reasoning.
And we've all been there, right? Remember the early days of something like ChatGPT? 1 minute, it gives you this brilliant, perfect answer. But the next, it just confidently mixed stuff up. This whole hallucination problem was the #1 thing holding these systems back from being truly trustworthy.
So here's the game plan for this explainer. We're going to start with why those hallucinations even happened in the first place. Then, we'll get into the missing piece of the puzzle that grounds AI in today's world. After that, we'll explore its new superpower, see how it actually thinks now, and then, finally, dream a little about the incredible world this all opens up.
Okay, so to really get why this new development is such a big deal, we have to go back to the original problem. Why were these incredibly smart models why were they so good at lying?
And here's the crazy part. Hallucination wasn't really a bug. It was a limitation of its design. Think of it like a librarian who has perfectly memorized every single book ever published, but only up to, say, 2021. It knows everything from the past, but it has no idea what happened yesterday. It was literally trapped in its own training data.
So the problem was staring us right in the face. For AI to be really useful, for it to be something we could rely on, it couldn't just be a history book. It needed a live connection to the world as it is right now. It needed to be grounded in reality.
And you can really see the difference here. We had to go from a model that was stuck, completely ungrounded, to a model that could actually go out and do its own research. It didn't just need more facts, it needed to learn how to learn, right here in the present.
And it turns out the missing piece was actually pretty simple, but totally profound. The AI needed to learn to pause. Instead of just blurting out the first thing that came to its mind, it needed to stop, recognize what it didn't know, and then go find the answer. It needed to do research, just like you or I would, before giving an answer.
And that, right there, brings us to the breakthrough. The new superpower that fixes this whole mess and completely changes the game for what AI can do. And that superpower? It's called reasoning.
So, what do we actually mean by reasoning? Well, it's way more than just being logical. It's about an AI's ability to look at a problem, figure out what tools it needs for the job. Like, does it need to search the web or run some code, and then create a whole step-by-step plan to get it done.
And let's be clear, this is not just another software update. This is a total transformation. It fundamentally changes what these models are. They're not just parrots reciting what they've memorized anymore. They're becoming active, dynamic problem solvers.
Okay, reasoning sounds really cool, but what does it actually look like? What's going on under the hood? Well, it's a process that might actually sound surprisingly human.
It basically follows a 4-step thought process. First, it really analyzes the prompt to figure out what you're actually asking. Then it strategizes. It asks itself, okay, do I need to go look up a stock price? Or do I need to run some calculations? After that, it breaks the big, complicated problem down into tiny, manageable steps. And finally, it just executes that plan one step at a time until it gets to the solution.
I mean, that sounds a lot like how we think, right? We run into something new, something we've never dealt with before, and we break it down. We use the skills and the tools we already have to figure it out. And now, AI can do pretty much the same thing.
And this is where it gets really mind-blowing. Because it can reason. And AI isn't limited by its training anymore. It can now take all the skills it has and combine them in brand new ways to do something that, literally, no one has ever asked it to do before.
So let's zoom out for a second. An AI that can reason and solve brand new problems, what does that actually mean for all of us? What kind of future does that even look like?
The old way was like trying to pack for a trip where you have to bring every single thing you could possibly ever need from day one. It was just impossible. The new way is so much smarter. We give the AI a core set of skills, and then it can use its reasoning to figure out how to solve new problems as they come up.
So you might be wondering, how is this even possible? What's the secret sauce? Well, it's a combination of a few really powerful ideas. Things like reinforcement learning, where the AI basically learns from trial and error. Something called chain of thought, which is a fancy way of saying we make it show its work. And really advanced planning techniques, so it can map out a strategy. All those things together create this powerful reasoning engine.
And if all that wasn't enough, here's the real kicker.
This revolutionary, game-changing technology isn't being locked away in some corporate vault. It's being made completely open source. That means anyone, students, researchers, hobbyists, can get their hands on it, build with it, and make it even better. It's an incredible moment.
So just think about that journey. We went from an AI that made things up to an AI that can think, learn, and solve problems it has never seen. It's a massive leap forward. Which really just leaves us with one final, gigantic question to chew on. Now that it can do all this, what are the really big, really hard problems we should ask it to solve?